Hello friends, Mali Pontarit here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. We are interviewing 1,000 change agents and community champions this year. Our goal is to reach that by the end of 2019, and with your help, we believe we can make it happen. Today, we have a wonderful soul who is with us. Her name is Candice Fathi, and we really want to welcome her because she's doing some incredible work in the world. Thank you so much for being a part of this global initiative, Candice.
Molly, first of all, thank you so much to you and the Nebula family and the SOAR community. It was really a divine connection that we met, and really meeting you and your husband and the SOAR community has really made a huge impact for me personally in my business, and also too just in the community and meeting other community change agents. So I just really want to thank you for that. I'm very grateful.
Well, we feel blessed and honored that you're part of it. Let's start off by having you share with our audience who you are and the work that you do in the world.
So I am the CEO, and I like to call myself, Gary Vee has a title called CHO, which is the Chief Heart Operator. And I'd like to think that I am the Chief Heart Operator and the founder of Marvel Village. And Marvel Village is a LLC that my family and I created, and it's a for-purpose LLC. And we work together with families that have exceptional needs. We do not call them disabilities. We call them different abilities. But because we really believe that every human being has been divinely created for a purpose and with a purpose. And so we don't like to call them disabilities. We call them different abilities, and really just tapping into helping these exceptional families tap into their superpower, find their gift, and just really empower them and encourage and educate them to go out into their communities and find their space in the world. Yeah.
Well, there is a book and an app associated with this, so please make sure that you mention that because I find it very fascinating and I want our audience to know about it.
I absolutely will. Yes, thank you. Do you want me to mention that now?
I think we should go ahead and wait until we get into how you're using your gifts and talents to spread that love, and that'll give you plenty of time. The next question that I would like for us to focus on is having you share some anecdotes or some stories or experiences around how other conscious leaders or community builders have supported you with love, compassion, empathy to help lift you and help you set the stage for who you are today and how you live your life.
Yeah. So, in fact, recently at a TEDx talk that I gave, I spoke about my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Anderson. And she was really the very first person to introduce me to neuro-diversity. I was twice exceptional, so I was the youngest child in the kindergarten class, as well, probably the whole elementary school. On top of that, I think I was the only Latinx student to rock a curly afro. And so the other kids in the school used to really remind me of that, of my differences every single day. And so I was bullied a lot until one day, through a very beautiful act of compassion, Mrs. Anderson changed all of that. And she basically made a space for me to really feel like I belonged there and that I had nothing to hide, and that I could run with the big dogs, even though I was the youngest kid on the playground. So that was really, I think that in itself, that really set a trajectory for me in my education. I think about spiritual mentors that have really counseled me and been really set a different standard for servant leadership, and really leading out of compassion and empathy and humility, and how that really changed my broken faith that spirituality could be a good thing at that time. So, I think about those spiritual mentors. And then just, in business, I recently with meeting my present boss, who is very, very, very neuro-inclusive. He makes a space for everyone, all types of minds, all types of abilities, all types of backgrounds, and how coming together in these new communities, like meeting you, and supporting other women in business, um, it's been a beautiful thing, because when I was working in nonprofit, I was pretty much shielded by the business world, so I didn't know that outside of nonprofit that a four heart culture could exist in the profit world. And then I meet you, and then I meet Eric Pearson, and then I meet these amazing people that are definitely making a profit, but they are making a difference in their community. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are interviewing these folks because they do exist.
Mm-hmm.
They lead with heart. They are making profit through their business, or if they're in the nonprofit space, they are helping the mission be profitable so they can do more. And it really is from a place of love and heart and a true desire to create change in our world for the betterment of all, which is why we're doing this. And we need more folks to be inspired to move in this direction. So you're a part of this movement for us, and we thank you. Now, Candice, as you were describing your kindergarten teacher and the other names that you threw out, they are, in your mind, community builders, champions of change, entrepreneurs who are choosing conscious capitalism. What
Yes.
other characteristics come to mind when you think of champions of change?
So I really love that you're doing this, and I mean this very authentically. It's not. I really love the fact that you are putting forth empathy, compassion, and being a change agent at the forefront of our lips in this space. So I really really appreciate that. Your question for being a change agent and just those characteristics that are needed. I wrote an anagram for care, and it's compassion in action, responding with empathy.
Mm.
And I think that those are really the characteristics that are needed if we want to be empathetic, if we want to make conscious decisions and really change the world and leave the world in a better place for our children and the generations behind us.
I love that. Care,
Compassion and action,
compassion, and action,
responding with empathy.
responding with empathy. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, now this is where I ask you, how do you use your gifts, your talents, your life experiences, everything that you observed and absorbed within your being to pay it forward, to do the work that you do, to create impact in your community? This is where I want you to tell us about all the great projects and tools and things that you're using to share with others in your world.
So, first of all, so my experience, growing up, having the difficulties, the bullying, the challenging, really created in me to be an advocate for those that, I'm not going to say that don't have a voice, because I believe that we all have a voice. We just express and communicate in different ways and different languages. Some of us have a nonverbal voice. Some of us, communicate through art or through dance or through cooking or through movement. And so, but that experience as a child really empowered me, and I wanted to be a champion for those that haven't found their voices yet, and empower them and equip them. And so back in 2016, through a lot of encouragement from, friends and women in business and colleagues, they really encouraged me to develop, Marble Village, because they had heard me talk about it. They had heard my passion, and they really wanted me to start something. And so I was scared and I was nervous, but I did it anyway. I did it scared. Lisa Nichols talks about that, do it, but do it afraid,
Right.
um, and do it anyway. So, so we started Marvel Village. We created, the LLC. We put on different events for families with different abilities, and that's the whole spectrum. So that's autism, that's Down syndrome, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the different ability is, because we wanted to create a safe haven for everyone to come. That's honestly one of the blessings of being a for-profit, is that, you're not restricted by anybody's policies or procedures. You can actually just open the gates wide, for all to enjoy. And then we, through the blessing of having a very supportive husband and very talented family, we partnered with a local nonprofit and we created an assistive technologies book, that the PDF version has already been printed and published. And then the Google, the second version, which is the interactive part, is going to be published on Google App Books, Google Play apps. And the book is basically encouraging families with different abilities to see the superpower within them. Because again, it goes back to our whole message and our core belief that we're all humans. Everything that exists here exists with a purpose and exists exactly the way that it is on purpose. There's certain flowers that only give off a certain color and a certain smell because the animal that pollinates it and eats it can only smell those smells and see those colors. So nothing, if that's the way that, the divine universe has made, the flowers and the animals, I'm pretty sure that humankind are even, more, more intentional, and more purposeful. So we created this book. It's going to be out very soon this year. The illustrations are already being held are registered at the Library of Congress. They're my son's illustrations. And we were able to present the book. I was able to present the book in front of the U.S. State Department's Foreign Press Association. They had a cohort of international families that are living with different abilities that I was able to present the book to. And they just really appreciated, being able to have a different way of looking at their different ability. I don't know if you know this, because, in most international spaces, if you're born with a different ability or you're handicapped in some way, it's not as inclusive as it is here in the United States. And there aren't very many human services available. So, so that's what we did. We've created this Marvel Village, and we've created a book, and it's, I'm really excited about what's next to come.
That's fantastic. Really, it's a much needed service opportunity, that safe space that you're talking about, and to see you building your own community where these families can come together and have these human services, and more importantly, have the human connection where they feel
dignity,
a sense of normalcy and
that's right,
dignity, and that they're extraordinary and extra special versus the other.
That's right.
So it's really powerful, the message that you are trying to rewire
Yes.
in this community, and it's much appreciated. So now as we move on to the next question, we're going to talk about empowering philosophies or mottos, or perhaps a quote or two that helps you move forward. I know you personally, I know life has not always been easy. There have been ups and downs in all of our lives. What helps you to keep going? What helps you to reset and say, you know what, life is worth living. I can move forward. It is beautiful and profound and complex.
I think for me personally, it's definitely my faith is something that keeps me moving forward. My family, my husband, I'm very blessed because I've had a faithful union with my husband for 21 years, and, it's funny because I was talking with him this morning and he's like, honey, that's kind of the exception, not the rule. And I was like, wow, I was kind of shocked. I was taken back. I was like, oh, I think you're right. But I think also too, I think before I was married, having that spiritual connection, and having my faith helped me to continue to push through. And I had to believe in the hardest of times that I belonged here, Molly, that I belonged here. And no matter what the circumstances and the situations were telling me, I belonged here. I had a right to be here. And so, if I had to go to bed earlier, well, then I went to bed earlier. We're going to wake up in the morning. Because there have been those days where it's just like, let's just call it a day. And I want a new day tomorrow. Let's just have a new day tomorrow. But I think my core belief was that. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I created this Marvel Village, is because I really want that message to get across, that you were made on purpose, for a purpose, and you belong here.
Beautiful. What does a better world look like through your eyes, Candice?
I wrote this down. In fact, it's interesting that you asked that question. I said, we can change the world. Anyone can change the world for the better. For their community, for a cause, or even just for a common human, if they just care, compassion in action, and respond with empathy. Again, and then it takes me back to my first, experience with my kindergarten teacher. It could have been much different for me. Experiencing bullying at such a young age, experience that kind of abuse at such a young age. And, but that compassion in action, and when she responded with empathy, it changed the trajectory.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for planting these seeds and changing the trajectory for so many families and individuals who have these special abilities, so they truly can shine and see their value and their worth and see how extraordinary they really are. Miss Candice, what is the best way for people to learn more about your Marvel community, to learn more about you and connect with you?
So the best place to connect with me is, I think, on LinkedIn. I am, linkedin.com/Candice Fathi, MED. I have my master's in special education. And then on Facebook, I'm also Candice J. Fathi on Facebook. And also, too, I really want to encourage people to reach out to us through the Marvel Village, through email. It's themarvelvillage@gmail.com. So it's, the Marvel Village. And on Facebook, we have the Marvel Village Facebook group. So I really want to encourage people to come in and join our group, see what we're about, and see if they can't be inspired to see their different ability in a new way.
Fantastic. Again, thank you so much for being a part of our global initiative. Thank you for being a community champion and for this goal of changing so many lives. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Molly. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you.
For those that are watching and tuning in, thank you so much for following our journey to feature 1,000 champions of change this year. We really appreciate that, and we need your support to reach more of those community builders. Please consider nominating yourself or those in your community that are creating positive ripple effects by visiting nebula.soar, SOAR, communitynetwork.com, nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. And if you're interested in becoming a partner or a change agent member and would like a demo, please email us at info at soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.